When Benjamin Franklin emerged from the great debates during the framing of our Constitution, he was asked, what kind of government do we have? His reply was, a republic if we can keep it. The torch has been passed to our generation. We're not doing a good job of keeping our republic. Our nation is facing bankruptcy financially and morally, and our society is collapsing. Aristotle stated that apathy and tolerance are the last virtues of a dying society. He was right, but all is not lost. We have a small window of opportunity to return back to those first principles that Washington, Franklin, Adams, Madison, and Jefferson believed in so strongly that they were willing to stand in the face of the strongest empire the world had yet to see with nothing more than a few muskets and meet either victory or death. So today I ask each of you to stand together and demand that our government return to those principles that our nation, the greatest nation on the earth, was founded on. We must pass the torch of freedom to our children and grandchildren. Freedom is not passed down in our DNA. It must be fought for and paid for with the blood and sweat of patriots, as President Reagan so eloquently told us. So I want to welcome each of you here today. You have chosen to be part of the solution and not part of the problem. And now I'd like to introduce you to our first guest. Congressman Forbes represents the diverse and expansive 4th District of Virginia. Randy focused his efforts in Congress on protecting the security and sovereignty of our nation, preserving the moral and historical roots of our country, and strengthening our military, supporting our veterans, growing educational opportunities for our children, and promoting economic development through fiscal responsibility. While working in Washington, Congressman Forbes has not changed his enthusiasm for serving those who elected him. The Richmond Times-Dispatch noted Randy has earned a reputation for constituent services, of which I can attest to, for his ability to cut through red tape and for his unparalleled constituent communications. Quick note, I have one of my employees at work that is going up to Capitol Hill for a lobby thing for cervical cancer. She sent emails to her congressman and didn't get a reply. I called Congressman's schedule in Washington, and she was able to set up a meeting with his legislative director in Washington, and he doesn't even represent this person, but I want to thank you for that, Congressman. Randy has rejected Washington political rhetoric and has instead focused on solutions-based leadership to tackle issues such as economic recovery, health care, tax reform, and government spending. In addition, Randy has introduced legislation to improve efficiencies in government and has been named the hero of the taxpayer. This is my favorite part. Instead of abandoning sound fiscal policy in the face of economic challenge, Randy Forbes was only one of 17 members of Congress out of over 435 who voted against each stimulus, each bailout under both President Bush and President Obama. Congressman Forbes founded and chairs the Congressional Prayer Caucus, has led this group of bipartisan members in national efforts to protect prayer in our nation's spiritual history. Randy attends Great Bridge Baptist Church, where he's taught adult Sunday school for over 20 years. He was born and raised in Chesapeake, Virginia, where he still resides with his wife, Shirley. He and Shirley have been married since 1978 and have 4 children: Neil, who I served with in the Virginia National Guard, Jamie, Jordan, and Justin. And I believe he has a new grandfather as well. So congratulations, sir. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce you, representing the 4th District of Virginia, Congressman Randy Forbes.
Todd, thank you so much, and Zach and Lauren, you did a great job up here, and we're just excited about you coming along. We need a lot more like you coming along down the path. And let me just tell you, I'm really excited and just appreciative to be here. A lot of wonderful friends in here. My good friend Pat McSweeney, I remember when Pat was practicing law, both of us were just lamenting out there that we carried that banner around with us that we're lawyers. You know, it's not a great thing to have in today's society, but Pat was a very, very good lawyer, and I had the privilege of giving a seconding speech when he ran as chairman of the Republican Party of Virginia. Also, Lee Ware, Lee was kind enough always to let us come to him for advice. In fact, just this past week on Thursday, we were able to meet together and talk about some issues. And Kirby, you've been there forever, I think, you know, down there for all of us. But just an honor for me to be here and talk to you today. The other thing, Todd, I don't know where Todd went, but just whenever my time's up, give me the hook. I understand. I don't want to take more time than I have today. And also, I appreciate you got some wonderful speakers today, and I wish I could stay the whole time. My wife, Shirley, got sick yesterday, and so I'm going to go back just to be with her. I hate to leave her too long just by herself, and I've got about a 2-hour drive, so Todd's letting me leave a little bit early just to be there with her. But what I thought I'd do today is just give you a couple of observations, and I thought there's so many things we talked about. I could come up here and tell you how bad the country is right now, but I don't have to do that. Any one of you can come up here and do that, and you could spend far more than the couple hours that you have to be together today. The only thing that I would tell you is it's probably worse than what you see and what you hear on TV. It is truly the most challenging, difficult time that I think our country has ever faced. And it seems like we've lost any touch to common sense in Washington and how we get out of it. So what I thought I would do today, with your permission, is give you just 3 kind of observations that you don't always see, maybe don't always hear on the networks, and then just a couple of suggestions for some solutions of things that I think we could do. And then to the extent Todd will allow me, if you have any questions about anything, I'm happy to try to field those the best I can. Let me just give you the first observation is this. When we hear about the rise in taxes and the rise in spending, it just becomes so enormous that a lot of people have a difficult time really backing up and taking an aerial view of what the problem is and why it's happening the way it is. But the kind of spending that we're seeing and the kind of taxation, because the two of them are always related. They're married and they're joined at the hip. But there are 3 really crucial things that I think all 3 of them are doing to our country that I'd like to throw out to you today. The first one is this. If you do not tax someone, or if you reduce someone's taxes, there are really 3 things that happens to those dollars and the money that's there. The first thing is, now, there's a 4th one that could happen. You could take that money and just put it in a can in your backyard area. Unlikely most people would do that, although with the banking situation, more people might think about doing that. But there's 1 or 3 things that normally happen. I had a businessman I was with yesterday, and he told me this. He said, Randy, look, as long as I've been in business, even right now as bad as the economy is, here's what happens. 4/5 of all the money that I get after I pay my taxes, I put back in the business. I've always done that, always will do that. I use that to buy equipment, I use that to hire people. That's the way most of my colleagues do it. That's the way most people do it in business. So the first thing that happens if you're a business person, and as you know, most businesses in America that really hire people, the large number of them are small, medium-sized businesses, and most of them are taxed at a shareholder level as opposed to a corporate level. After tax dollars, they normally always channel back into the business, which creates jobs, or it creates a need for more products, more services, whatever we need out in the economy. The second thing that happens, if you're an individual, you're not a business person, you do normally one of 2 things. Either you pay off debt or put your money in a bank for some sort of savings or investment that you do. When you do that, it creates more liquidity that we have in the market for more people to borrow money, more people to do the kinds of things we need in the economy. Or the second thing that you do is you buy products and you buy goods that are out there. All 3 of those things, whichever one you choose, whether it's that businessman putting it back in the business, whether it's the individual paying off debt or putting it in a savings account or investment, or whether it's that person buying goods, consumer goods or whatever else is there, all 3 of those things are exactly